Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Warriors Corner. Presenting next, U.S. Southern Command, SOUTHCOM as an Innovation Testbed. Ladies and gentlemen, General Laura Richardson.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Good to see everybody. Oh. Glad to see everybody here. Glad you're here to listen to our presentation. We have lots to talk about. We have a very short period of time, 40 minutes. But I want to showcase and show you a video, and then we'll get started. So let's roll the video. Okay, what'd you think? All right, come on. All right, everybody, so the presentation for U.S. SOUTHCOM. So one of 6 geographic combatant commands. We're very close to the homeland. And in our President Biden's national security strategy, the Western Hemisphere is inextricably linked to our national security in the homeland. So we have a lot going on in our AOR. Our #1 pacing challenge as part of the National Defense Strategy is the People's Republic of China. We have 22 of our 31 countries signed up for the Belt and Road Initiative. 4 other countries, in addition to that, have ongoing PRC projects. We have a lot going on in our critical infrastructure in all of our Western Hemisphere partner nations. We have Russia that has the corner market on the disinformation, over 31 million followers. Sputnik Mundo, Russia Today Espanol, and Telesur. In the information environment, we're in conflict, not just strategic competition. I have 8 subordinate commands in SOUTHCOM. I have very little assigned or allocated forces. So our exercise program and the security cooperation program that we do is our main levers for U.S. SOUTHCOM. So innovation and technology, layering in all of that innovation and technology into multi-domain, multi-dimensional exercises is very important for the Western Hemisphere. Multi-domain or domain awareness for all of our country nations, our partner nations. We have a vast area, Caribbean, Central America, South America, it's huge. And so being able to see threats, know when threats are in our region is very important. We have high-level delegations that continue to visit the region from our strategic competitors, from the PRC, from Russia, and from Iran. And so what we have to present today in terms of, I've got my joint directorates here. They're all lined up to talk to you and answer questions. They'll give you a short spiel about what we're working and the initiatives that we're working in the Western Hemisphere. But we're trying to move the needle to outcompete our competitors. And I would say that we're doing a good job at that, but we have to work really hard at it each and every day. and we have a lot to lose, and I would say that the Western Hemisphere is ours to lose, and there's no need that we should even be talking about that. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to my Deputy J3, Brigadier General McPike, and then my rest of the JADers will give a short presentation, and then we'll allow time for questions and for you to ask questions. It's our honor to be here. We're glad to be here. And as we lay out the problem set to you, it would be helpful if you've got ideas, because we're only limited by our ideas. And so thank you for what you do, and over to you, Craig.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So as General Richardson said, we have a lot to keep an eye on. So ISR is one of our main techniques and procedures that we go after to make sure that we're able to see, hear, and detect anything that's moving out there. So like she said, the PRC is our #1 competitor, our #1 peer threat. So ISR is, can you go to the next slide, please? This is our region, one of 6 geographic commands, and our motto is Partnership for the Americas. Next slide, please. As General Richardson spoke of, we have 22 Security Corporation offices, and our components that report to us, as well as 2 Coast Guard districts and our task force locations in this AOR. Next slide, please. So some of the things that we're trying to do at SOUTHCOM and our J3 and other directors is modernize this technology that we have. The current ISR platforms that we have, we need to modernize them, or maybe even push them forward to more of a long dwell, persistent, long range ISR platforms. Solar powered, hydrogen powered, you name it. We're just trying to make sure that we have more of a stair technology, not just going out and mowing a little piece of grass. These advanced sensors that we're looking for will give us the capability to then ingest a lot more information. We'll need artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities to be able to ingest that and to be able to go through that information. Renewable energy is another thing that we're looking at, trying to make sure that we have the ability to either beam light up to solar-powered aircraft, or be able to bring power in where power is needed in a disaster humanitarian relief assistance type capability. We have to secure these networks. Cybersecurity is a big problem in our AOR. Our partners are always asking for more help with respect to their cyber networks. And then the next G, or 5G, we're trying to help them find a partner, a U.S. partner, or maybe an allied partner, other than some malign state actor that's trying to come in and put up either a smart city or some sort of 5G capability that could potentially harvest data. We're looking forward to doing experiments and combined research with our partner nations through collaboration in scientific research, RTD&E experiments, as well as some of our coalition warfare programs that we're working on. Some great opportunity for excelling with our partner nations to make sure that we have a combined effort from our partners to make sure that they're secure in their regions. And then lastly, we want to make sure that we're inviting innovation into our exercises. So Trini here, Mr. Trini Green, we'll talk about that in a minute, but bottom line is we want to bring experimentation, innovation into our theater through our exercise programs. We have 8 every year, and those are great opportunities for us to invest in our partner nations as well as industry and bring that new innovation that we can potentially use in future fights in other AORs. So we look forward to that. Right now I'm going to turn it over to our J2, Major General Dusty Schultz, and she's going to talk to you about some of our ISR needs. And then we'll have Colonel Waskela, our J6, Colonel Burke, our J4, and Mr. Trinity to talk about exercises. Thank you very much. We look forward to your questions in a moment. Thank you.
Thanks, Craig. Howdy, folks. I'm Major General Dusty Schultz. I am the Director for Intelligence for U.S. Southern Command. I want you to pause right now and think about our worst threat. I want you to think about your worst threat on your worst day. Each of you right now is thinking about your worst threat on your worst day, and you need to worry about your interior lines. General Richardson said that our #1 threat is the PRC in our region. And many of you, when you hear of this area of operations, you think counter-narcotics. And while that's a problem, it's not the problem. You need to pause and understand the threat in this area of operations is real, and it goes well beyond counter-narcotics. We are looking at a problem set that has an ingrained enemy that is undermining the rule of law throughout our theater and taking over in the data and spaces that should have each one of you pausing and concerned. When we look at our theater and we look at the problem set, we understand that transnational criminal organizations also exist, but you need to understand that the threat they pose of the $300 billion industry that they have of unregulated engagements throughout our theater, the narcotics portion is 100 billion. So where are the other 200? We're talking about unregulated fishing, the harvesting of minerals, and deforestation of our partner nations. So when we look at the threat and we look at what is undermining and corroding our partner nation capacity and even our own capacity, we have to understand that it is holistic, it is real, and it is now. So when we look at this problem set, we also have to couple that with we're a theater that is gift map constrained with limited ISR assets. And for you, that can also mean a potential opportunity, because we understand that we can't do this without our partners. And our partners in this theater are often not Five Eye. So we have to have partner releasable information. So when we look at the unclassified requirement, as we couple with our ISR, traditional ISR requirements, and then we look at long dwell ISR requirements and getting creative with the use of AI and ML and integrating that. And then we think about how do we appropriately utilize and share that information. We're using enhanced domain awareness. We're using enhanced domain awareness to take different capabilities and link those databases of record in so we can share appropriately with partner nations, to share appropriately with fellow governmental agencies, law enforcement agencies, and we're utilizing this all based in an academic environment as well, in several different ways that we are using enhanced domain awareness to really enable us and our partners to move forward in that collaboration as we build strategic partnerships. That also includes that when we look at this, we can help our partner nations with things like humanitarian assistance and disaster response. So when Chile was having its forest fires, we were able to share imagery in real time for what was going on. And that helped our partnership to build trust, because we move at the speed of trust. And it enabled us to really get after what are those things that we need to share nation to nation and build and forge a way forward so we can understand that not only the threat is real, but more importantly, as we integrate, we've got to do it also, when appropriate, at the unclassified level. We've got to figure that out and do it within the norms and constraints. So we do that through EDA. What I need you to know is that we are here to integrate dynamically, and we need your engagement now. We need you as part of our partnership as we move forward. We're thinking about it, we're getting after it, and as a leader recently told me, the time is now and we're late, I would challenge you to partner with us so we can move forward and get after this problem set.
All right, as General McPike mentioned, I'm Colonel Anwar Ghanem, the J6 and Chief Information Officer at SOUTHCOM. Can we get the next slide, please? So I'm not going to talk to this slide. This is the Joint Staff J6 CJADC2 slide. What I am going to talk about is the foundational attributes of CJADC2 and how they're relevant to the SOUTHCOM AOR. So from my perspective, for my portion of this brief, if you don't take anything else away, I want you to take away these 5 things. Number 1, zero trust, data centricity, mission partner environment, interoperability, and defensibility. Those are all foundational concepts of CJADC2 to execute globally integrated operations around the world, okay? So when we think about what does CJADC2 mean to the SOUTHCOM AOR, as General McPike mentioned, over 24 countries that we partner with. Typically what we've done in the past is we've developed network-centric solutions. We've developed walled gardens. We have to get beyond those walled gardens to data-centric solutions based on a zero-trust environment so that the people who need to have the information, and only the people who need to have the information, have access to the information. And if you don't have a need to know, you don't get it. But it also has to scale based on communities of interest. Sometimes we have a migration mission set that we need to look at. Sometimes we have a counter-narcotics mission set that we need to look at. And who we partner with changes or can change. So if we develop a network based on a identity management attribute or role-based, using data as the centric solution instead of the network, I know who's on that network. Based on their identity or their role, they have access to that information. I can have it in that network in Miami or in Colombia or in Costa Rica, at one of our DRUs, at one of our components, and I can scale it. It can be large, it can be small, just based on that community of interest. So what we're looking to do at SOUTHCOM is partner with academia, with industry, with other DoD organizations and agencies to build that data-centric joint operating environment so that we can share the right information with the right people at the right time to enhance decision-making and increase decision cycle velocity for those leaders who have to make decisions. So I'll give you 3 examples of what we're doing right now. We just finished phase 1 of our Wicker RAM pilot, recall, alert, and messaging. That's the DoD GOTS partnership for Wicker. We partnered with Jayad of South and the MPCO to do that. Initial feedback has been great. I can put this application on my NIPRNet computer. I can put it on my personal cell phone. I can be at my desk in my office in a secure space, and I can message a mission partner on their cell phone down in Latin America or in Central America, right? And have a level of trust that that information is secure up to a CUI level. We are also partnering with CENTCOM with their collaborative partner environment to see if that is a potential solution for SOUTHCOM as well. And then finally, we are excited about a future partnership with DISA to look at a Thunderdome. That's DISA's zero trust environment. Partner with them to see if that's the best solution for SOUTHCOM for our zero-based architecture. So if you're interested in partnering with us through one of our exercises or through some other means, please contact us. Zero trust, data-centric solutions, identity and credential access management at scale with our communities of interest. No more walled gardens. Fences may make great neighbors, but they don't help us when we have common interests. And I'll be followed by Doug Burks, the J4.
Hoorah! I've always wanted to do that in a room full of soldiers. This is awesome. Hey, can I get the next slide, please? Hey, how many logisticians do I have in the space? No hands. Oh, 1, 2. Yeah, you're an engineer. You count. How many are friends with logisticians? Okay, a few more. Awesome. So I'm one of the very few Marines and one of the very few logisticians in the space, and I'm about to talk to you about contested logistics. So if you're a logistician, what I would tell you, you know every day logistics is contested. We'll frame it against the adversary, but the truth is we fight the weather. We fight our own IT. Hell, today when I was checking in, I do have a badge. I see everybody with your lanyard. They ran out of lanyards, so my badge is in my pocket. But we're obviously, we're fighting a supply chain, contested logistics, right? So in order to fight and win at contested logistics, we need a system that's flexible, adaptable, and reliable. The theory of the case for SOUTHCOM is that is integrated at the joint level, and we're working very closely with our allies and partners to make that happen. So let's see, I'm facing, so I'm going to talk left to right. We'll start at the strategic and we'll move down to the tactical. So at the strategic level, remember, how do we work with our allies and partners? We've started down this road of a theater maintenance partnership initiative, right? So it's enabling our partners, integrating with our partners, and by enabling and integrating with, we enable ourselves. So we do this through 4 lines of effort. The first line is visibility, so seeing what equipment readiness is, understanding it, and then the second is process improvement, so figuring out how do we get help to point of need faster. The third is establishing centers of excellence in education. So a center of excellence, right? I'll use an example. We recently visited Colombia as we're starting down this process, and they have a fantastic rotary wing capability, right? They're training pilots in the region like it's cool. Well, it is pretty cool, but you know what I'm saying. So we want to expand that capability to maintenance. They've already started to develop a depot level capability, so we want to give them enough help, enable them to actually export that to other partners where they can do component level repair and assist with readiness across the region. And this is focused on U.S. defense articles, right? So put yourself in any theater. If you've got that capability out there, you've got additional places to leverage readiness for U.S. defense articles that don't have to come all the way back to the homeland. And then the fourth, and this is as we move into our operational level of logistics, is we really want that partner nation interoperability. So our bid for success on this is the Medium Air Squadron Americas, configured around the C-130. If any of you have spent any time in EUCOM, you might be familiar with the heavy aircraft wing. So C-17s, flagged in Hungary, ran by a multinational squadron providing airlift support throughout the region. We want to do something similar, but built off the C-130. But again, you got to make sure those platforms are ready. And I will tell you, for SOUTHCOM, it's a key, because if you look at the list of COCOMs and everything that's going on in the world, we don't get prioritized very well when it comes to airlift specifically. So the more capacity that we can build downrange, the better off we are. Okay, now we'll move down to the tactical level. General Richardson likes to talk about the first island chain of the Americas. And I think that is so apropos. I just came out of Indo-PACOM, and that was our entire focus in life, right? The stand-in force and the first island chain. Well, the geography matches pretty closely, right? So maritime environment, dispersed maritime environment. We've got jungles in SOUTHCOM, right? It's all there. The geography is very similar. So we need all the things in order to enable the transportation piece of this at the tactical level. Right now, the 4th Fleet, the Navy has dictated that 4th Fleet's AO, that's Navy South for us, is the AO of innovation, right? So this week, actually, they're testing new platforms to move stuff around theater. They're also testing different ways to do maintenance. I think the way to do maintenance virtually. Anybody read the book Ghost Wars? I mean, there are so many great concepts in there, but one of my favorites was the goggles, right? The ability to kind of see a problem and you can actually see how to work through it, and you don't have to have somebody in your hip pocket. So all that to say is flexible, adaptable, responsive, theater logistics cooperation, strategic, down to tactical, and tying it all together at the combatant command level. I'm going to be followed. So they had to dumb it down. They brought the Marine on deck, but we're going to lift it back up. We're bringing Mr. Trini Green on to talk exercises.
Hey, thank you, sir. So as Colonel Berg just said, Dave Green, I'm the Deputy Director of the J79, and I'm going to talk about our joint exercise program and working with my S&T teammates to integrate S&T into our exercise program. So if you haven't realized by now, I speak with a slight accent. So if I'm talking a little bit too fast, please ask me to slow down, and I will do so. So the joint exercise program, it is the principal means for the commander to maintain trained and ready forces. And as General Richardson said earlier, we have no assigned forces in the SOUTHCOM AOR, so the joint exercise program is critical to what we do. So we do 8 exercises yearly, and those exercises are separated into 2 categories. We have the operational exercises, and those are the Panamax, Integrated Advance, and Fuse Response. And then we also have the foreign military interaction exercises, where we train side by side with our partner nations on their home soil. So if there's one thing that I could say about the exercise program that's unique and is successful so far, and our adversaries has not done, is bring 20 or more countries together to train towards a common goal or to advance U.S. interests and regional interests in the AOR. The exercise program, we do, like I said, we do 8 yearly, and we have invested about $54 million in 2023 into the program. As General Pike alluded to earlier, when it comes to science and technology, if they need to test and experiment, of course they have to have a venue to test and experiment. That venue, that avenue is the joint exercise program. The joint exercise program gives them the flexibility and the capability to test. And if you look at some of the exercises that we have, they are multi-domain, but some of them emphasize on certain activities. For example, Resolute Sentinel is air-centric. So some of those things that General Pike mentioned, like over-the-horizon combo, that's a good exercise for that. Another exercise that we have is trade winds, a foreign military exercise. Trade winds focuses on riverine, jungle, and humanitarian assistance, disaster relief. And then there's UNITAS. UNITAS focuses on amphibious and maritime. So the geography for them to test is already there. It exists in the ORR, so the capabilities is already there. One other thing I'd like to mention about the exercise program is the exercise program has been in existence, some of these exercises, for a very, very long time. Like UNITAS has been around for 65 years. Trade winds has been around for 30 years. So we have built that trust with our partners for many, many years. What else? CENTUM Guardian, I'll just go back to CENTUM Guardian here. So when I talked about trade winds previously, CENTUM Guardian is pretty much a mirror to trade winds. Our partners and our adversaries have not done this, like I said previously, and we tend to, we capitalize on that going forward. One other thing with the exercise program is that there's a high tolerance for technology in the OR from our partners. We have willing partners, we have a permissive environment, and our partners are willing to continue to build partnership and strengthen that team as we move the exercise program forward. One thing General Richardson would like to talk about is proximity matters. And if you look at most of the countries in our AOR, we can get to most of the countries in our AOR in 4 hours or less. The reason why I mention this is that it reduces the cost of the exercises, and then it's far away from our adversaries to avoid any type of escalation. The future of the exercise program, for it to be successful, we have to remain the partner nation of choice. For us to remain the partner nation of choice, we have to be relevant. For us to be relevant, the exercise program provides that pathway and that avenue for us to be relevant with our partners. And with that said, that's all I have for now. Let's turn it to John McPike.
Good job, Trini. Thank you, Trini. We'll close this up, but I just want to recap real quick with respect to what we're trying to do at SOUTHCOM with modernization of our ISR platforms, with building enhanced domain awareness within our partner nations, with also working on combined JADC2, working on contested logistics, trying to supply the island chains if we needed to, and then the opportunity for exercises to build partnerships within the AOR. Just a quick story, I just happened to be able to travel down to the shores in the remote areas of Panama on one of our Continuing Promise missions, which is where we bring in medical help to our partner nations. It's a great effort that SOUTHCOM does, and it is a huge multiplier of force when it comes to building partner nations and building trust within our AOR. It goes miles and miles. And so that's one of the things that we've done recently, and it's the way to innovate in the world of medicine if you're innovating in that area. So I would just like you to leave here with one thing. If you are an innovator and if you're part of a company that wants to invest or to bring a capability to fruition, when you're thinking about where you want to test that capability or that technology or build that innovation, we want you to think of SOUTHCOM as the place where you want to bring that technology. So we're going to open up for questions, and if there's anything you guys want to ask, we have a few more minutes. So thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, questions. Go ahead.
Yes, my name is Michael Ray. I retired out of USOC, just finished up writing the non-standard communications book for RSOF before I left the space. So my question is for the 6 and the 7. If I told you that I went out in the private sector in a small business and found something I created, a communication system that's traceless, anonymous, misattributable, has been used for 10 years, fully developed, and you can communicate with anybody on any network, dirty or not. And there's no contractors between you and your data. You own everything. Would you be interested in seeing it?
I would tell you I'm from Missouri, so please come talk to me.
Okay.
The show me state, in case you didn't know. Yeah, we'd be interested. So team's here. Thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate it. Who else?
Here.
All right.
Hi, I am Flavia Camargos from Shepherd Media. And my question, I actually have two questions, but one is related to this modernization effort the command is conducting. I wonder how much will be invested in this modernization, and when do you expect to have this concluded? And my second question, actually my third question, we have been watching a huge advance, a huge presence of the China in South America, in Latin America, and in general, and the Chinese have been trying to get the defense market there, to get a bigger share of the market, and they have been donating equipment. I wonder how the U.S. has been preparing to face this presence of the Chinese capabilities in South America.
Yeah, so I would say the partnerships that we have, we're the partner of choice, right? But we have to be there, and we have to be there at the speed of relevance. And these leaders are normally in the seat for one term of 4 years. They're working on a stopwatch, not a calendar. And our processes and Team USA were developed when we didn't have any competition. And so we've been pressurizing that system to deliver faster on FMS, FMF, EDA. We got to do it faster. That's all there is to it. Our partners want to partner with us. But when they need something, they need it now. They're not going to wait. They can't wait. And so we've got to be faster. In terms of modernization, we'll never be done modernizing. And so we advertise to the services, you know, come here and in a real-world program, real-world mission, our exercises will plow the ground for the other COCOMs. We're close to the homeland. We're close to where most of your manufacturing is. Come join us. All of my components, I have one of my component commanders here. Raise your hand, Major General Will Thigpen from Army South. Come bring your stuff, your toys. We'll try it out. We'll put it to real-world use. We have our NAV South that has a exercise, the Flex Week. And we are testing over 20 sorts of vendors and some of the things that they have. The Task Force 59 unmanned hybrid fleet is now being replicated in the SOUTHCOM AOR by the Navy. And so we have a lot of opportunities, but come here, our modernization won't be over. We got to continue to modernize. We got to continue to stay at the forefront, and you have to work at it. It's not something that you can just get it and then you're good to go for a number of years. That's not how it works anymore. So thank you for the question.
Your budget to conduct the modernization?
My budget is for the, my budget comes from the services, right? So warfighting headquarters is a COCOM headquarters, so the services, what they want to do for modernization, they can do their testing in our AOR and with our exercise program. Any other questions?
Take this.
Thank you. Karis Bryant, NATO Allied Command Transformation Innovation Hub. I'm curious, Karis Bryant with NATO Allied Command Transformations Innovation Hub out of Norfolk. I'm curious with all of the testing and experimentation that you've been doing, especially in all of your joint exercises, how you're sharing all of the things that you've learned with other innovators, since you're tackling a lot of problems in interoperability, as are we.
Hi, yes, we are sharing with OUSD and Office of Naval Research, Army Futures Command, AFRL. All of these service labs are working together with us, and we're sharing that information with other COCOMs. So we're working with INDOPACOM, CENTCOM, AFRICOM on a lot of the initiatives we have, our concepts and capabilities programs like AMPA, which is an autonomous maritime patrol aircraft, our ACES program, which is a automated engineering and construction program, which 3D prints buildings, as well as our Ulysses autonomous low-profile vessel, which is a vessel that basically rear-engineered from the cartels when we detected, monitored, and captured some of these go-fast boats. We've turned them into future marine logistics supply programs. So we're sharing that technology with the services, with the labs, and the other COCOMs. So we have a robust sharing program. Thank you. And I think we're out of time, but ma'am, close this out.
Okay, thanks everybody. Just remember, proximity matters. And so proximity matters for a couple of reasons. One's easy to innovate and test technology, but also we're very close to the homeland. And so, but where our adversaries aren't looking for us to have a lot of capability, we can plow the ground for the other combatant commands in the other regions. Again, thank you for what you do. Thank you for being here and listening to us. And we'd be more than happy to talk to you after this. So thank you. Have a great day. Hua.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next Warriors Corner will begin at 4:20. The presentation will be given by the Army Enterprise Marketing Office.